4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. What number did you guys hear me start the stream counting off at? Let me know in the chat. Hey, what's up, everyone? Happy Wednesday. R-Flat, ready for the tech drama and gossip. Yeah, let me know what number you guys heard. I'm trying to figure out what the syncing is from when I hit go stream, because I know there's some delay, but I want to know, like, as soon as I click it, I started counting as soon as I started clicking it. I'm trying, if you guys could scroll back and see at the very start of the stream, what was the number that was on. But yeah, how's everybody doing? I think the challenge for today is going to be scooters, because Jason wanted me to sing the chorus of any song, and I don't sing, so I would rather try to chug a bottle of water. I got a glass of water just so that you could see that it's actually filled, because with the bottle, I guess if I use like the LTT bottle, I could, you know, be chugging nothing. But I wanted to actually try chugging, you know how people do like the beer chug challenge by opening up their throat? I've never tried that before, so we can try that on stream for the first time. New GTA being released? Was that supposed to be the whole GTA news? Aren't they dropping a trailer in December? Are you saying that was the hacked tweet, or is there something else that was hacked and the GTA news? I'm actually excited for GTA 6, like super excited. I've been playing Grand Theft Auto games for as long as I can remember. The original GTA, not original GTA, but GTA 2 on PlayStation. And then from there I've played pretty much most of the GTA games. I didn't play 4, that was the one major one that I missed. But let's go to the comments before I try to chug this glass of water and potentially spit all over the place. We got Federico Gonzalez, who is first today. What's up, Federico? Kale130, as always. What up, Eddie Lemus? We need more of your videos. Love your content. Yeah. I've kind of been having like this writer's block, mental block with the latest video, but I'm getting it done for this weekend because I need to get it done and move on. And that's going to be my build update, as well as getting the Intel graphics card into my system. And then after that, we've got some good stuff, as well as LAN party stories, which has to come before the holiday season. It has to come before Christmas. But yeah, let's see. What's up, Extreme Zone? Scooter. Don Hefe. Yeah, our flat. We got Geek Squad. You got your 7800 XT today. It's Power Color Fighter model. And you got the 4000D Airflow case. Nice. So you did a case and graphics card update, but kept everything else the same? That's kind of like what I'm doing. Basically changing the graphics card, keeping most of the core stuff, and then changing the case too. I'm changing the case that I'm using, also to a Corsair case. And you'll see in the video what it is, but... How do you chug water through a straw? What does that even mean? I do have a cup with the straw here, but we're not chugging that. We're chugging this. What's up, Demon Mitt? We got Rad Robot, High Power Danny. We need more videos. Yeah, I know. I'm trying. No, it's a combination of the mental writer's block as well as hardcore WoW. Hardcore WoW is so addicting. So it is very easy for me to spend many hours playing that. So, but I have died multiple times, and I've lost a kind of higher level character, unfortunately. Get the funnel? I don't think a funnel would really do anything. All right. I got a towel just in case, but we're going to try to do this. Has anyone done this, or does anyone know how to do this? I've watched videos, you know, when you're just chilling, like bored, and you go through like a rabbit hole of just looking at random stuff on the internet. One thing that always amazed me was how people are able to chug. And when I say chug, I don't mean drink fast. I mean literally open up like a pathway from their mouth to their belly to drink liquids, and it's just like pours straight down. It just bypasses everything in your throat and just goes straight to your stomach like an empty pit. That's always amazed me, and I've never tried doing it. But what better time to do it than on stream? Let me bring up. Yeah, so this was the challenge to start off this week's stream. What do you have to show for all your time in hardcore WoW? Sure you must be max level with big loot by now? No, I have a dead level 41 warrior. That's the painful thing is with hardcore WoW is there's nothing to show for it if you end up dying. But still, there's a sense of wanting to achieve level 60 without dying. It's, I don't know. I think there's a lot of things that we do in life that you might not have anything to show for it by the end of the day. I mean, we're PC gamers here, right? Like, many people could argue that spending that much time on video games, like hundreds of hours or even thousands over the course of our lifetime, what do we have to show for it except for our memories and experiences, which hardcore WoW, even though you don't have a character by the end of it if you die, you do have the memory and experiences of, you know, getting through, I guess, as high as level as you can. But yeah. Vanquish Reaper says, my channel is dead. Yeah, the channel is kind of like up and down. I mean, I've been around for coming up on almost 8 years now. Not many channels stay relevant unless they're super huge for a long time. The channel's doing well enough where I'm bringing in a decent amount of money, as well as like sponsors are still reaching out to do sponsorship. Companies are still sending stuff. So I mean, like the channel has had higher highs, but also lower lows in the past. But it's just when you've done YouTube for long enough, it's just something you kind of get used to after this long. And I don't know what you have going on in your life, Vanquish Reaper, but saying that my channel is dead, you must have a lot more going for yourself. But let's see. Thoughts on Corsair 7000D Airflow? 7000D. 7000D Airflow. That's a full tower. That's the full tower. I don't know about that. I mean, I'm a fan of the 4000D the most. The 5000D starts getting too big for me, and then the 7000D is way too bigger. It's way too big for me. My thoughts, and it's kind of expensive too. Like, I get it. It's a bigger case, takes more material to make. It can hold more stuff. Like, it's a bigger glass panel, more plastic components, more metal components. So it makes sense that it's more expensive, but I've just never been a fan of these huge cases. I don't think I've talked about the H6. All right, let me do this water chug real quick. Oh my God, H6 case. PC. Let me do this water chug, see how difficult it is. Okay, so they just go like, oh, this isn't gonna work, is it? Didn't work. That failed. I need to practice off stream. Oh my God. Wow. That did not work at all. I didn't even get that much water and I spilled all over the place. Did I get any on the mic? So let me drink this all real quick. Yeah. Spilled too much. That's not the method. That's not the method at all. Man. Yeah, at least I tried. Do I rap? Chris, do you have any... What? Chris, when have you seen me rap ever? You're playing drinking games? Yeah. No. See, the reason I need to learn how to chug is because if I ever have to drink, like, beer or anything, large volumes of alcohol to get drunk, I need to get it into my system as fast as I can because I cannot, like, slowly drink a beer. Hey, gifted Jonathan Tolbert, thanks for gifting the membership. Scooter was gifted membership. Did you choose that or did Scooter get that randomly? That's actually a perfect coincidence because Scooter is a very active viewer of the stream. I could have just saying party in the USA instead of just choking on water. You're right. Oh, NZXT H6 Flow. I think we brought this up before, Jason. All right, which, by the way, for today's stream, it's just going to be a pretty chill stream. Not a ton of tech news. There's some talk of RTX supercards, which I can bring up the thing. But yeah, we're just going to go with the flow of what chat is bringing up. But with regards to the H6 Flow, let's see. Let me look at something real quick. This has a wedge side, right? It does have a wedge side. What is this considered though? This looks a little bit more compact than... I haven't actually seen much about the H6 Flow. Man, I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts on these wedge corners though, of these cases? So they're going with the whole glass-to-glass corner, similar to like what Hyte. I guess, would you say Hyte is the company that kind of popularized that? But not only are they doing the glass-to-glass, they've also got this. I don't know. I'm not a fan of the wedge in cases. Now in this one though, unlike the Hyte, you do still the wedge looks like it does not get in the way of any like radiator support up on top. The wedge doesn't cut into the rectangular shape up here. So overall, maybe if I built in it, I would have a different opinion, but this isn't my favorite design at all. Eric Lorenzo says, dang, I'll never get my... What was Eric's question? Did I miss something? Eric, hi Danny, one quick question. Sorry if it has been asked, but have you guys considered having LAN over a long weekend? When you say LAN over a long weekend, you're talking about like a Labor Day weekend or something like that? I think what's tough about the LAN parties is that usually people have stuff planned with their significant others or families and stuff like that on longer weekends, like Thanksgiving weekend. People are either out of town, they got stuff with their family. Labor Day weekend, that's a 3-day weekend. Significant others sometimes like to go and do stuff, go out of town, all that stuff. So I think it's kind of hard to try to plan around a holiday season and have everybody be there. It's easier just to throw out random weekends throughout the year and then see what sticks for the most amount of people. So yeah, that's what, I guess that's my answer to that. I think if anything, we specifically don't target like 4th of July weekend too. I think everyone usually has planned for that kind of stuff. So trying to dedicate 3 days of just landing, it's really hard for at least my core group of friends. But I could see that being like a common thing for other people or some of you guys out there who land or something probably, just because it is a dedicated chunk of time off that you're guaranteed almost. So yeah. Scooter says that case looks kind of cool. Not a fan of the box design, but I like the curved fan design. So for me, the weird thing about it is the wedge is on the back side, which when you look, like this view specifically, when you look into it right here, it looks like the case has a chunk missing out of it, and it kind of does because you're looking into the aesthetically pleasing side right here, right? You're looking into the glass, and you're right there in the very front, you do see this diagonal section of it, which maybe over time it might become more normalized as more case manufacturers make it. But as of right now, there's not a ton of case manufacturers who have gone away from like the standard square design to doing stuff like this. So it looks different, but you know, it could grow on me over time. But overall, the rest of the case though, I mean, it looks very clean. I do like how the power supply is not in the bottom basement. So in terms of fan support, you can fit a ton. You can see here there's 10 fans. Yeah, so 3, 3, 3, and then 1 in the back. So tons of fan support. No power supply basement because it's on the back and kind of like that dual chamber. Let me see where's that backside. Dual chamber design right here. And plenty of space to build in too. So. MLK weekend. So we try not to land. We're trying to push land later because the winter time can be kind of random in Washington. We could have like random snow or snowstorms anywhere between January to February. And we've had it become an issue before where we almost had to cancel land because like Washington, it's pretty bad when we get our first snow of the year or when we get heavy snow. They don't salt the roads and plow that well, especially when you go to more private streets and stuff like that. So we've, in the past, when we've had land in the winter time, we have had it where we had to watch the weather just to make sure everyone was able to get to land. And in one of the land party videos, and I captured it in the vlog footage, Danny and Casey, they were coming down the hill and it was so icy and they almost like hit cars that were parked because they didn't know there was 2 roads getting to my neighborhood. So they took the one that Google Maps told them, and it was so icy going down the hill that it was kind of dangerous. And then they were having trouble parking because the car got stuck in the snow. So yeah, MLK weekend, I mean, for Washington and just for our friend group, it doesn't work out that well. But like Jason Whitmer in the chat, he has his group kind of get together land thing, which I did make a video on earlier this year, and that happens usually on MLK weekend. So I know there are other people who do plan around weekends like that, like 3-day weekends, holiday weekends. Yeah. Yeah, that would be perfect. If everyone gets snowed in after arriving to a land, that is like the perfect land, assuming that the snowstorm doesn't knock out the power and internet, because that would be a horrible weekend. Actually, no, I guess you could do board games and stuff like that, but I think if the road conditions are bad getting to the land, that's the crappy thing. So yeah. Okay, I missed a super chat earlier. Sorry about that. Chat is, for a chill stream tonight, chat is going a little bit faster than I was expecting. We got, how do I say this name? OP Sporing Verzocht says with the good job sticker. Thank you. I appreciate the 5, that is €5 super chat. Okay, what else? And then we got the €2, sorry, I said $2, €2 super chat. Best PC build for 3K. Any ideas? I am new build PC. $3,000 is so much to spend. We could actually do this because we've got a pretty open stream. So let me go over the Tom's hardware news real quick, or not the news, but just the news that they have on the super cards. Winterland will be destination lands, even though I'm not going to. Yeah, so MLK weekend is what they call DrevelerCon down in Texas with Jason and his friends. I'm not going to this upcoming one, but I am sure I will make an appearance in a future one after that at some point in time. But $3,000, any ideas? For $3,000, so they're asking this question and are new to building PCs. I feel like $3,000, you start getting into the territory of you have quite a bit to spend, and the more you have to spend, the more complicated you can make the build, right? We're talking about putting in AIOs, more RGB integration, more features and stuff like that, which kind of make the build more, like, potentially more problematic. More things you have to connect, more parts, more stuff that could be connected wrong or just have more trouble with and things like that. At $3,000, I'm almost tempted to say, like, you could buy a pre-built as your first PC, and then you could upgrade it once that gets old. But if you're up to the challenge, I mean, you could build so many things with $3,000. We can do a PC part picker list, and then we could look at builds that are sold by different companies at $3,000 and see what the value is. Yeah, and then well, so they donated in euros. So let me see what the conversion is. What is the euro conversion to USD? And then you got to take another like outside of the US part tax, just because stuff is more expensive. But 3,000 euro to USD. Oh, okay. So we're talking about around 3,200 USD. If anything, I would just estimate, or I would round this down to 3,000. Like I would build a $3,000 USD system, and then assume that $200 is going to, like, you know, European tax for prices being worse in other parts of the world. Yeah, you might be thinking Canada 1.3 to 1.3x. Yeah. I mean, do they want AMD or Intel? What GPU? DDR4, DDR5? I mean, with 3,200 USD or just 3,000 USD if we're gonna round it. I mean, I'm assuming DDR5 easily. GPU, how much are we still talking at? Let's see, 4090. Are we still looking at $1,600 4090s? If we are, then you're probably looking at 7900 XTX or 4080. Oh, what? The lowest price? What's up with 4090 prices? I could have sworn we saw them readily available, like in the past, few weeks or months. Closer to 1600. What's going on here? Did 4090 prices go up? I don't often shop for. I actually never shop for a single graphics card in the upwards of $1,500+. So I don't keep track of the pricing that much. Let me look at PC Part Picker real quick. I know PC parts can be a lot more expensive in Europe. Yeah. So let's just assume like even a $2,500 US build is equivalent to about a $3,000 euro build. That way it gives you some buffer to work with, right? But let me look at RTX 4090 prices. Let's just look for like the Founders Edition. What is going on here? Does Best Buy has it for that? They only have Best Buy prices, but Best Buy's gonna be out of stock, right? Yeah, Best Buy's 4090s are sold out, so you're not gonna be looking at 4090 anyways. When you say 4K, see, 3K is a definite 4K PC. I'm thinking you meant 3,000 currency is a definite 4K resolution PC if you spend your money wisely. Yeah, that's throwing as much money to the graphics cards as you can and then getting a capable enough CPU. But, I mean, I don't know. What is your guys' definition of what a 4K PC is? Are we talking about 4K 60 FPS on AAA titles? We're talking about 4K Counter-Strike, max settings, 300 plus FPS. I feel like there are still cards that struggle to run 4K max graphic settings, AAA titles at a stable 60 FPS without things like DLSS or FSR. We're talking about like pure raster. Can we do, actually, we could actually probably do that. Let's take a look at the prices in Europe. PC Part Picker EU. All right, PC part picker, let's see. Do you know what country you are? What country are you from specifically? Have they left a comment ever since? OP Sporing. What country are you from? Let's see if we could use your country's PC part picker and see what we can build for 3,000. Oh, he's from the Netherlands? Okay. Yeah. Okay, Netherlands. So we can do this. We can go to the builder. Let's just, I mean, with your budget, let's take a look at, we're gonna try to get like 40 series, or actually, we should be able to get higher end. So let's take a look at these. We're starting at 4070 Ti's, 849 euro. That's actually pretty reasonable. 4070 Ti's are only 800 USD here. So this isn't as bad, I guess, in the Netherlands anyways. I can't speak for the rest of the world or other countries, but this isn't too bad at all. This is, I mean, looking at this though, this already eats up a third of your budget. But depending on what you want to do for the case and stuff like that, you could easily start, let's see, let's say 1,000 on the graphics card. What is, if we keep going down, let's do an even 1,000. You're looking at it, so you can get for 1,000 euros a 7900 XTX, which is like the top end AMD card right now. OP Sporing, do you have any preferences towards NVIDIA versus AMD? Yeah. So Bizigo says Magecko. Yep. That is where this $1,000 7900 XTX is from. So I think just by using the Netherlands PC part picker, it's going to give the best prices for new parts anyways. I can't speak on the used market. That's even harder. 1,000 for a card? What? Vanquish Reaper. $1,000. People spend more than $1,000 on a card. Maybe not many of us here in the stream and the chat, but there's plenty of people who spend upwards of $1,000, $1,200, $1,600 for the top end NVIDIA cards. I was thinking more like AMD. Okay, so AMD, if you are okay with AMD, that's perfect. So let's put, I mean, so there are, well, there's actually cheaper, but only by like $8. So let's get the Hellhound. Let me see, 70 Ti's. Yeah, so the other XTX is within like $10. It's gonna be the ASRock one, but let's add the Hellhound card. We're already through a third of your budget just on the graphics card. What's up, Damien? ASRock is a bad brand. Yeah, for graphics cards, I tend to not lean towards ASRock that much, unless it's just like a crazy good deal. But we're talking a $10 difference, over $1,000, that's 1%. I'd rather go with Power Color on that. Chase Atwood says, I have $1,000 worth of cards, just not one worth 1,000. Yeah, I would say same here. I don't think I own a single graphics card that is valued at $1,000. All right, so we've got this so far. In terms of let's pick out the things that we know we have to get. So then it'll leave us with what we have left over to pick the best CPU we can. So in terms of a case, I mean, we're not gonna make this like an exact like build clinic, because that would just take too long for me to wait for your response every single time. But let's take a look at the cases and pick something pretty decent that's like a mid tower. Can I choose mid? ATX. Wait. mid tower. Here we go. Yeah, so there's a bunch of like $30 cheap cases. We're gonna ignore those. I'm gonna go until we see something that Deep Cool Matrix 55. These are still kind of considered the budgety cases. Fractal Design, some older cases still. The Aerocool Cylon, best case. What about the Montec 903 base? I mean, depends on 903 base, 68 bucks. I can't say bucks. I gotta say euro. And there's it. Magecko does not have the lowest price on this one. I mean, I feel like for a 3,000 euro build, this looks a little bit low end, which honestly is really up to the buyer, right? A case, for the most part, holds all your components, kind of protects them, and gives you a way to turn it on and off and press reset. For the most part. So long as it has, like, you know, decent airflow and decent room to build in and all the parts fit, that's all you really need it for. But once you start going beyond a certain price point, you're not really just spending only on just like core components and that's it. That's when you start adding in more flair and aesthetics and things like that. Or typically that's what people do. I don't see many people spending $3,000 on a PC, putting it into a $50 PC case, if you know what I mean. This is a great case to make a sleeper. Yeah, I mean, this case, honestly, for the price, looks fine. But for the 3,000 euro budget that they have, you could definitely... Also, would ZTT approve is the question. Probably not. I guess my question, though, is, are you comfortable with building a PC yourself? Because as much as people love to be cool and like sound elite and better than others, so many times have I seen people with like so much money to spend, and then they go out and they follow PC part picker lists or whatever, and then they start building the computer, and then they start running into issues, and then they're playing the whole, can you help me troubleshoot my PC over Discord or text or something like that, and it becomes a bigger headache than anything. Especially, again, we're talking about spending 3,000 euro on a PC. Maybe if it was like a $700, $800, $900 more simple build, then sure. But at this big of a budget, I feel like going the pre-built route is even more acceptable if it wasn't before. You gotta be smart if you know how to build a PC. I don't really know what that means, Vanquish Reaper. You gotta be smart if you know how to build a PC. I wouldn't say that everybody who has built a PC is smart, and I wouldn't say all smart people know how to build PCs. So I don't know it. I don't understand your comment. Hey, no, just wanted to drop a quick hi. Was watching the LAN Party 2022 video again. Good luck with the stream. Thanks. I appreciate it. But building a PC isn't so hard, right? I think the learning how to build a PC, it gets, I wouldn't say exponentially, but it gets a lot easier each time that you do it. I think the first PC that everyone has ever built, myself included, it's actually a little bit of a struggle, especially if you started building before YouTube became very popular with tutorials and all you had to go off of was like forums back in the day. I think building a PC and running into trouble and troubleshooting there was more difficult because there isn't as quick of lines of communication as we have now, right? Like if people had trouble now, they could hit up Twitter or Discord and get answers relatively quickly. But if you were to post on forums back in the day, responses were slower and your thread could get lost when other people post things a lot quicker, and you have to bump the thread and stuff like that. So I think I mean, yeah, people have been building PC, like you've been building since you were 15 and now 32. For you, I think you've forgotten how difficult it could be and how intimidating it could be to do the first PC when you've never done it before. Building a PC can be hard, but cable management is hell, lol. Yeah, cable management is also something that it just takes, you got to do it multiple times to get good at it. Oh yeah, there you go. Chris said it well right there. Let me redo this chat so that it's not cutting stuff off. PC building is not hard. PC troubleshooting is way harder. And yes, I definitely agree with that. So I think that's a big step of the process that a lot of people ignore when they like to tell people just to build their own because it's easier and cheaper. Yeah, assembling a PC is not that difficult. Turning it on, getting it to work without issues, that could be a little bit more difficult for people who are inexperienced. Once you've done it like a handful of times, then it becomes pretty easy. But I'm not seeing any more comments from OP Sporing, so in terms of if there's any unique things that they need the PC for, like are they just going to be running SSDs? Do they need a specific case that has more support for drives? Things like that. So Master Tinkleton says, trust me, I've troubleshooted PCs a lot and a lot of the times the issue is not common. Yeah, so I could totally agree, and maybe some of you can agree with this comment too. The biggest annoyance for me when troubleshooting a PC, and I brought it up to you guys too, right? Like I have had PC problems, and I've mentioned it on stream before, and everyone always chimes in with the most basic stuff. Have you tried resetting CMOS? Have you reset the BIOS? Have you updated the BIOS? There are plenty of PC problems out there that does not have a cookie cutter answer or fix to. If I took like 10 minutes to try to look across the internet for really obscure PC problems, I could probably find stuff where every solution that you would think of to throw at, aside from it being like, hardware issues, there are some really obscure problems and solutions out there. And those are the ones that have you pulling your hair out because everyone is telling you, you should just do this, you should just do that to fix it. And doing that does not fix it. I don't know how many of you out there have built PCs and run into these types of problems, but I've run into a number of those over the years, building systems, just either for myself to make content for the channel or for friends and family. Yeah. For you, a case is a case. So you are here. A case is a case. So let's go down and... Okay, you don't even really care. So, you can pick any case. So I'm just going to pick a filler case for $100. This is something that's pretty interchangeable. Like, all these are going to fit ATX towers. You would just want to make sure, and you can plug this into PC Part Picker after the fact too, after we pick an AIO, just to make sure it has the radiator support. But let's pick this one. I actually like this case. The Cooler Master TD500 Mesh. It's a pretty standard mid-tower case. I've actually used this a couple of times before. I like it. There's nothing super special about it, but then there's nothing I would say is super wrong about it either. We're just going to use this as a placeholder so we can pick the rest of the parts so that the budget works out. So where is add? Okay, so we're going to choose the power supply. At this budget, let's get something most popular, like the Corsair. These are pretty much A-tier power supplies, 850. You could probably fit, what's the price difference? 850 X versus the 1000E, and you're talking about a $6 difference. If we're going with the 7900 XTX, I would be looking at in the range of 800 plus watts. Yeah, I'm trying to see like what at this price range. There's no reason not to get basically the longest warranty, biggest power supply you can get, and hopefully it lasts you for the next decade. So let's see. We're gonna look at. I'm just gonna put it at 850 minimum, but we can see what the pricing looks like. All the Corsair stuff's at the top. Almost all these are going to be A-tier power supplies. Where's the sort by price? True finding PC part. So, I think the hard part about building a PC is there's so many. I mean, just look at this. This is the power supply we're looking at. I've already filtered it down to 850 watts or above. And I mean, look at this. This is just 850 watts and above. This isn't, if I let it go all the way down to like 350 watts, there's 8 pages of it. Now, that's not to say that some of these are either repeats or some of these are just not really readily available. They could be, you know, they're listed on here that you can add it, but they might be from some obscure sellers or from places that pretty much are holding on to old inventory or stock. Yeah, you should definitely be able to get an A-tier PSU. So all the stuff under 100 euros is closer to 850, but let me see. Focus, yeah. Let me pull up a second window here. Tough Power CF1. Hey, what's up, Gnomed? Are we making someone type a bunch of jeez, Gnomed? How you doing, Gnomed? Thanks for the 11 months of support, by the way. I really do appreciate it. Let's see. What is this one? 850 watts. I mean, the price difference is like 20 euros between 850 to 1,000 watts. So, Revolution DFX, that's also a good unit. All right, where's the cheapest? C1000, C1200. The NZXT C series is also A tier. So, I think I'm just going to choose the Corsair one. The RME 1000 watt. Yeah, this one right here is not that much more for. It's not that much more for a for the extra 150 watts compared to the 850 version, and it's not a speculative position. It's an actual like solid ATX 3.0 compatible 100 watt or 1000 watt PSU. Your boy Ram got a membership from Jonathan Tober. Thank you very much. Looking at our, so we're see how quickly we're eating into the budget. We chose a pretty, you know, standard case, about 90 to 100 euros. We chose an A-tier power supply, which this wasn't that much more expensive than the 850 watt versions or 850 watt supplies out there. So we didn't, it's not like we spent like an extra 100 euros on this, right? We're spending maybe like 40 to 50 more just to make sure we get a top tier, long warranty, 1000 watt unit. So we're already at 1260 We're gonna need storage for, would it be safe to say 2 terabytes? I'm thinking 2 terabytes for this build to start off at. Obviously, you can go from anywhere from, you should definitely not go below 1 terabyte. But at this price range, I'm thinking at a minimum 2 terabytes. If you can, you could probably fit in, you want a white build. Dude, no. I do not like white builds because trying to color coordinate white builds, usually memory and graphics cards are more expensive. Sometimes the cooler is more expensive. I don't know. Color coordinating white it looks nice, but I think it's a pain to do. Because sometimes some parts come in like an off-white or it's not the same shade of white. Whereas if you have different shades of black in a PC, I don't think it's as noticeable as when you have 2 different whites or one white that's matte, one's glossy, and things like that. It's so hard to color match. Four terabytes, I mean, bro, okay. Should be able to easily, like, I don't think Gen 5 SSDs are just not worth it. They're so pricey right now. But should be able to fit a Gen 4 in pretty easily. Minimum 2 terabytes. Gnome, Jesus. You're throwing me off, Gnomed. Gnome with the 50 gifted memberships. Thank you for the support, Gnome. I appreciate it. Your boy Ram, nothing that a little spray paint can fix. Okay, I've spray painted PC parts in the past. I would not want to spray paint a PC that is this expensive. Let's just say that. Like, I'm okay with spray painting whenever you do like kind of more affordable, cheaper builds. I'm not trying to spray paint a $1,600 graphics card or a $1,000 graphics card. But you could just remove the paint with paint thinner if you mess up. No. It's I do not like spray painting. Yes, you can disassemble it without a problem, but like I personally don't think spray paint looks that good. Vanquish Reaper, you were being a hater at the beginning of the stream. You don't get a gifted membership. Yeah, for me, the spray painting thing, like, after you reach a certain price threshold, to me, it's just like, no more spray painting. I know, so Zach likes to spray paint a lot of his, like, lower cost builds to help the aesthetics out. I don't know what is the most expensive part or PC Zach has spray painted in. I know he likes to spray paint, like, the stock cooler of the AMD, like, the heatsink. The shroud of it. I don't know how expensive of like hardware components he has spray painted though. I don't think he's ever spray painting something super expensive, but correct me if I'm wrong. Yes, Mr. Guillotine, how did you know? Gnomed is in the chat. Gnomed with the MVP 50 membership gift. I appreciate it. Now I gotta update the where's it at? I don't have the list on here yet because, let me see if I can add it real quick while we just chill and let these play till the end of time. I imagine a Lamborghini with a tacky spray paint job. Yeah, that's my biggest thing about spray painting, which no hate towards anybody who spray paints their PCs, right? Like, with the whole spray painting thing, it looks good from like afar and it looks good from a medium distance. For me though, is I know as soon as you get closer, you start seeing the imperfections in the spray paint. Now, you could fix that, but to do that, you have to put in the insane amount of prep work to like sand it, paint it, wet sand it, apply like a matte or gloss. as opposed to just simply spray painting it. Just doing a simple, quick Rust-Oleum spray paint job, you can see it in the finer details. And to me, it would annoy me so badly to see imperfections like that. Oh my goodness, Gnomed again? Thank you, Gnome. I appreciate it. All right, let's see if anybody who asked for a membership now has it, thanks to Gnomed. Yeah, exactly. If you want it to look nice, you have to do a lot of work. And sometimes, if you think about like a graphics card shroud, even once you take out all the fans and stuff, sometimes it's a very intricate shape. Like you got little nooks and crannies in there, and you got these like geometric, like, you know, like rectangles and triangles and all this stuff that let me see if I have a graphics card on hand. I don't have anything that's too crazily shaped in here. Oh, I guess I kind of do. This is a 1650 Super, a very simple card, but so doing the black backplate would be pretty easy because this is pretty flat. You can just, you know, sand it. Even with flat stuff though, I feel like the amount of prep work, if you want it to actually look nice and hold for a long time so that it's not susceptible to chipping or anything like that or wearing off, it would be a lot of work. But one hard thing would be the fan blades. I've seen people spray paint fan blades and they usually just spray over it. They don't ever show themselves sanding it. All they do is spray over it and that's it. Look at this one. Look, I've seen people spray paint these types of EVJ fan blades. The one with the little E's all over it, that texture. And then when you look at the shroud itself, there's like these holes and stuff everywhere where if you really wanted to get into it, you kind of have to sand the inner edges of this so that you don't have an inconsistent, like, I guess this is facing down, so you won't see it most of the time. But I don't know, for me, I'll always know it's there if I try to spray paint something like this. These are going to be going on for a long time. What is a membership? Think about it like a Twitch sub. YouTube didn't want to call it YouTube subs, so YouTube memberships are pretty much the equivalent of Twitch subs. It's a way to show support to the creator and then get small little perks like a little icon next to your name being highlighted, being able to use custom emotes and stuff like that. Like you could do stuff like this if you want. So I mean, in terms of the whole viewer experience, you can watch the stream without ever donating or, you know, doing subs. But it's just a way to show support to content creators, kind of like how Twitch has it. So, yeah, like Firestorm's able to use these custom emotes right here and things like that. So, yes, apparently you have to enable gifted memberships. I don't know why they made that a thing. Like, are people being gifted memberships when they don't want to be? So that's weird. Uncle Dan, oh yeah, I forgot to say hi Maxwell, hi Cam. I think Zia, I totally have been forgetting to say hi to them in the past streams. I would see you and acknowledge your chat, but then I would forget, duh, you're watching because the kids are watching, so hello Maxwell, hello Cam. How do you know if you're a member? Your name will be highlighted green, and you would have a little icon next to your name. Okay, so before we were interrupted like this, this is why it's kind of hard sometimes to do the PC part picker stuff on stream, because it's easy to get distracted by the chat, and it is also easy to get distracted by the stuff like the super chats and the channel memberships, which I do have to give attention to, obviously, because people are showing support. So, okay, any other filters that we can do when it comes to? All right, I gotta ask, because there's always gonna be different questions. But are you guys SSD brand snobs? Are some of y'all like Samsung or bust, or are you guys okay with like more budget brands? Which companies have good warranty for PSUs? Good warranties as in long warranties, or the returns process? Yeah, that's exactly how I do it. As long as it works and doesn't just actually suck, that's... I rarely... I think my first SSD ever was a Samsung SSD, and after that, I don't think I've... For my own personal system, ever since my first 128 gigabyte SSD, I have not bought another Samsung SSD, if I am remembering correctly. And if I have, it's because I buy them so infrequently for my own system that I can't recall. Visigo, but then you're killing your price to performance when you're spending another... Actually, let's take a look at the prices here. You got 990 Pro, big baller over here. Let's see, prices... Where's the price? Man, they have so many... You guys can't even see it, but there's a ton of filters or ways that you could sort this by. But let's do prices, lowest to highest for 2. We're gonna do 2 terabytes. We're just gonna go straight to 2 terabytes. I don't think there's any reason for a 3,000 euro PC to put any less than that. Which SSD prices are actually pretty good. I mean, less than $100. In the US, they're like 70 to 80 bucks, but they're around 93 euro here. Eddie Lemus, thanks for the join on the membership. I appreciate it. Scooter is Samsung all the way, dang. But brand doesn't matter to you. Usually buy SSD is on sale. Brand doesn't matter. Storage is storage. That's kind of my thought process. I'm actually using in my boot drive right now in my personal system. It's an Intel 670p, which is very much a budget SSD, and I have zero issues with it. Transfer speeds, installing games, everything, editing, like I have no issues. I do like Team Group. Jonathan Tober says Team Group. Yeah, I do like Team Group. 65 pounds for a 2 terabyte in the UK. That's actually really good pricing. Yeah, with SSDs, there's so much to choose from, but I'm just going until I see, like, I would be okay with going with the Cardea Z44. I haven't used the Q variant, but I've used the Z440. What else is there? MP600. This is pretty... There's a lot of standard stuff. Man, look at the price range. We're easily into the 200-ish plus dollars, but it started at below 100. 670p is a value drive. Budget would be Team Group MP33. Yeah, because the 670p, it's not that much more. They don't even make them anymore, unfortunately. They're being phased out. But it does have DRAM, where the MP33 does not. Did I miss your super chat? Casey, what did you say? I built 3 7900 XTX, which thanks, by the way, Casey. Yeah, I'm sorry. On my screen, it's moving by really quickly, but I built 3 7900 XTX system, 14 what's it called? Airing, the 11900H. Wait, is that the that motherboard combo that we were talking about in previous streams? The motherboard CPU AliExpress special? Laptop CPU and a motherboard. Yeah, I mean, let me see. Airing 11900H. I don't know. I mean, if you want to push price to performance down like crazy, because yeah, this combo is $100, 182 bucks. But I don't know. it just feels a little weird, kind of doing these hybrid type of systems where you have like mobile processors on desktop motherboards. It works and you can get it for cheaper. Whoa, what's up? Is stream still going? I just want to make sure stream's still going. Was it lagging? Yeah, Melissa wanted to air it out and not leave the light on because of the burnt popcorn. You can plug it in though. Okay, I wasn't sure if it was. Yeah. It has everything you need. Great price, but warranty, yeah. I mean, I don't know if I would recommend this to someone who is building for their first time or someone who does not have tech support on hand. Like, Casey, you built these for friends and family and stuff. So should anything go wrong, or like if they need help with PC support later on or upgrading and stuff, you're there to help them, right? Or are you selling these to like some randos on Facebook Marketplace, and then it... I think for this price, I would rather just buy used parts. These are these brand new? Let me see. Professionally manufactured, do they talk about new? I mean, there's no reason to assume these are used, right? But for the same price, if you go into AliExpress, I feel like I would be comfortable enough to just get used parts, which you could definitely find, like, you know, Ryzen. You could definitely get a CPU motherboard combo for this price and get like a 5800X with like a B550 board within this price range. You built it for family? Yeah. So this is great price to performance, but I don't know in terms of like recommending this to people building for the first time ever, or people who do not have like readily available tech support on hand. I think I would rather go with stuff that's more standard to consumers. Like this being pretty much available on AliExpress or like from overseas sellers and websites. I don't know, just something about it. I don't feel super good about it for people who are very beginner level, if that makes sense. Like for me, I would use it just fine. I might buy one of these and make a video using it, but there's a difference between like me buying it and using it and making content with it versus actively recommending it to like a bunch of people getting to the PC space. That looks like a troubleshooting nightmare. I'm actually very curious. Is there anything finicky about it, Casey? And is there anything finicky about this in the multiple systems that you built with it? Or does it just work as if it were, you know, other off-the-shelf parts and you wouldn't be able to tell the difference aside from, you know, the CPU being on there already? You have a headache already? Yeah. I can turn down the volume. Let me see. Yeah, it's kind of a thing though. Did the volume get turned down? I think out of respect for the money donated, I can't turn off the notifications. I gotta leave them going, but I turned down the volume. Yeah, I'll make it quieter. RAM settings are not able to go over 3200. I don't think that's a huge deal, but that is, again, with stuff like that, you are compromising. You have to compromise a little bit here or there, right? RAM setting, yeah, I don't think that's the end of the world. But yeah. All right. So for SSD, I mean 2 terabytes. Let's just pick something middle of the pack. So we're not gonna pick something that's like dirt cheap, 90 euros. We're not gonna choose something that's friggin' 300. We're gonna choose something middle of the pack, like around 140-ish price range. I'm about to pick the Team Group Cardea or the MP600 Pro. Let me see. Actually, okay, we can fit in a 980 Pro. So I'm gonna add in the 980 Pro from Samsung for all the Samsung fanboys out there. But what I'm doing is, again, what's hard about PCs is not the actual building itself. I think there's just so much choice for people. They get lost in the sauce almost, right? Like we looked at the power supplies, we looked at the SSDs. Like, how do you even choose an SSD? What I usually like to do is, I usually like, you know, so long as there's not like quality problems. Like for SSDs, I like going for the budget value parts. But then when you do that, you have people complaining like, oh, it's gonna be horrible for, I don't even know what they actually complain about, because I know most people out there are not like actually using SSDs for what they need to be fast for. If you're just booting up your computer, browsing the web, playing games, consuming media, even video editing, you do not need the fastest SSDs out there. Unless you are doing like 4K, you know, high FPS video files with a bunch of different, like, you know, like huge files that you're constantly moving between drives, then the speeds, it's not going to be major for you. But right now we're closing in at the halfway mark. So we got SSD. All right, so now we just need to choose the core components, which we have 4 left. Everything else, we're going to assume you're going to figure out Windows. You can do a $15 key. You can do unactivated Windows, but we're just going to leave that. So we've got all this so far, which is, it's going to be compatible with pretty much anything else we choose. SSD, graphics card, power supply, and case. So now we got to choose what processor and build around that. Yeah, picking parts can be overwhelming, especially for newbies. I'm trying to think, like, I don't remember when I was first picking out parts. I did everything based off of Newegg. I don't know how old PC Part Picker is, but back when I built my first PC, I was not aware of PC Part Picker. So what I did was I went on Newegg and I picked stuff, and I knew you had to pick a compatible motherboard and CPU, and that's pretty much it. By that point, graphics cards were pretty standard. You know, it wasn't AGP, it was PCI Express. So it was kind of hard to mess up in that regards. But yeah, now I think with PC Part Picker, if you are too like flustered to put together a build because there's so much to choose, you could look at completed builds on PC Part Picker. You go to completed builds, and then you could put in your price range, and you can look at what other people have made guides for. So let's see what we can find. Let's put this up higher. 4070 Ti build. Let's see what let's see what build they could squeeze. Actually, did anyone make a 4090 build for 3,000 bucks? Boom. People are saying white build. Here it is. 3,000 euro. Let's take a look what this thing is. Wait, what? They used a Hyte case with the screen? Watching from China. Tell me some PC parts to bring back that isn't... Oh yeah, Jason's in China, by the way, if you guys didn't know. He has access to some unique computer parts, potentially, so let him know what he should bring back. That is not the RX 580 248 stream processors. PC Power Picker is very old, but it probably doesn't best Newegg in age. Yeah. So my first build, I got everything on Newegg. I should probably, I need to take a screenshot of the invoice, and we can look over my first PC build from Newegg. I think I've posted it before on Twitter, but I've never done it in a video or on stream before, I don't think. But yeah, let me look at this part list. I mean, I find this kind of impressive, but let's see how they got this to be 3,000 bucks, right? What do they have? So they're using a, can I break this? Okay. So here's the parts list. So this is $3,000 for a 4090 PC. Okay. Do they not have a price on this AIO that they used? 32 gigs of RAM, 3600. Okay, so they're on DDR4. This sounds about reasonable. Yep. Actually, they have 64 gigs over 2 sets. 1 terabyte SSD. Okay, so they're spending a little bit less there, even though they got it. Okay. Interesting. And then they got a 4090, which eats up, oh my god, this build is 2/3 graphics card. Up to 3,000 euros, you got almost 2,100 here in the 4090. And they got the Hyte Y60. And, okay, so everything else looks fine. My issue is, where's the motherboard? Okay, so if you're looking at these build guides on PC Part Picker, don't just use them as is. You can use them for like a inspiration, right? But you need to actually look through them, because this is why this build is only $3,000 with the $2,000 graphics card. There's no price. Maybe they already had this on hand, but I don't know if you should make a build guide on here and not actually put prices of stuff, even if you got it for free potentially or something. And how are you just gonna not have the motherboard on here? And I mean, yeah, 11th gen Intel, it's whatever, right? It's an i9 11th gen, but this is so weird to me. Like, how do you just not include a major component, and how do you just not put in the pricing for this? So this is not a good example to go by, but hopefully we can find something better. Here's a 13900K. Okay, so this one's more modern, 13th gen Intel. What is this? Okay. Oh man. This is, look at this. Can I open a new window? Here we go. This is, to me, what looks so weird. So this is a standard motherboard. This is like a standard ATX board, right? When people are asking me what I think of large cases like the Corsair 7000D or other full-size towers, look at this. What is this extra space? And I know this case in particular has a bunch of drive bays, but even without the drive bays, look how much extra space there is here. It just, to me, this looks funny. Huge cases, I don't even know how you can really fill up huge cases, because at most what you can do is put a super thick radiator and cool. And I guess if you, no, I know what you can fill it up with. If you're doing custom hardline, or I guess softline, just if you're doing custom water loops, right? Liquid loops, where you need space for the reservoir and things like that. And maybe if you have a distribution plate or something like that. But still, this is so much room. You could still build in more reasonable sized towers and still get all those custom water cooling stuff in there. Genius Insight says, to whoever bought me a month of membership, thank you so much. Danny is the best for real. First of all, you are too kind to me. But it is Gnomed the MVP. You can see it in the, if you look at the chat, there's these two things with little counters going by. Gnome gave so many gifted memberships that his little time bar is still going. Looks like a house with no furniture. Yeah, I agree with you there. This just looks really strange. But going back to the build guide, case aside, you could always use a different case. Let's take a look at what they fit into this $3,000 PC. We've got the i9 1390KF. Okay, what? There's something wrong with this build already when you're using a 9th gen, or not 9th gen, an i9 13th gen processor that's already $600. You can already tell, right? The math on this isn't gonna work out. How is this gonna be $3,000 when you've got about a 2,000, not dollars, sorry, euro, a 2,000 euro graphics card, and you already have 600 on here? But let's look at this list. All right, so we've got this super expensive processor. We've got a almost 300 euro AIO, Thermal Grizzly Cry, not sure. We've got a motherboard, the N7. NZXT boards are not cheap. They look very pretty, but they are pricey. 300 right there. You've got 64 gigs of DDR5 memory, 5600. Not the slowest, but on the slower end. For 240, you got 1 terabytes. Oh yes, of course, of course. You just don't put in the price for the 4090. That's how you get this build to be $3,000. Why? Why is this a thing? Is there a story? Did they write a story with this? Finished this build after 7 years of PC building abstinence. I would have liked to keep my old PSU. Okay, yep. Stock PSU. Yeah, where do you talk about the graphics cards? The lighting setup is usually white. So I think I know what's going on here, which kind of is unfortunate with PC Part Picker. I think what they meant to do was just to show what their parts list is. I don't think they're calling this a $3,000 PC. It's just what PC Part Picker was able to fill in. But oddly enough, what, are there no Founders Edition 4090s in the Netherlands? Like, why did this not get auto-populated? I don't know, he didn't mention getting the 4090 for free or anything. I don't even think it was his intention to make this seem like it was a 3,000 euro build. I think he just made a parts list, PC Part Picker filled in the majority of it, and for some reason didn't fill this in. So that's kind of unfortunate because obviously, unless you're really skimping out on like a lot of things like the case, motherboard, RAM, maybe even CPU, storage, power supply, it is really hard to fit in a 4090, whether it be of 3,000 USD or 3,000 euro PC. Someone did a hardline water cooling, yeah, in an NR200P. Yeah, some people are crazy with like, I mean, we can pull that up. I mean, it wouldn't be hard. Oh, Optimum Tech, of course. Sorry, I just probably blasted your ears off. Let's see. So this one's not hardline. This one is soft tubes, it looks like. Yeah, because they're bending, obviously. Wait, is this hard? Yeah, he's just calling it water cooling. This one's not hard. Can we find a hardline version, though? Here it is. Look at those bends. My one time building with hardline, I know how difficult it is to get all the bends perfectly, but why I would not want to do it again, aside from it being kind of expensive for what I would consider kind of negligible like performance gains, it's definitely something you do because you just like doing it, or like the artistic aspect of it. But it is so hard to get perfect bends. Even this build, it looks really good, but I mean, you can even see some imperfections in this bend right here. It's not perfectly parallel, which is really hard to do. Like when I did mine, it was not perfect by any means, but I think it's just something that would kill me if I couldn't get it like perfectly parallel and perfectly, you know, do 180 turns or 90 degrees bends and stuff like that. That would get to me. Doesn't the price disappear if it's out of stock and not locked in as I bought this and what I paid for it? I think so. So, yeah, I don't know. I feel like there should just be, because of the way PC Part Picker works out, if people are going there to look for guides and sorting by price, I think the builds should be representative of what's inside versus the price that they're displaying. So even if something is out of stock, I feel like PC Part Picker should have some kind of logic where they throw in something that's like, you know, instead, so that it fills it in. So that if I am looking for a build at a certain price point, they show me something that's representative and not something that has a major component zeroed out. But yeah, that's why, I mean, you gotta look. And I guess for beginners, that's what the difficult part is, right? If people are not as experienced with knowing how much PC parts cost or what to look for, if you're looking through build guides on PC Part Picker, you're not gonna know that 3,000 euro 4090 is just not gonna happen in any realistic sense. Master Singleton says, my OCD is kicking in. You're talking about this? Mine kind of kicks in, but at the same time, since I've done a hardline build, I think I appreciate the craziness of them trying to fit this in a small build more so than my OCD. I drank so much water earlier, Kevin. I'm good. OP sporing is probably... Which, by the way, OP sporing, if you're still there, I apologize. This often happens on the stream. We go all different directions. But hopefully we were able to help you up to this point if you're gone. But I do want to actually finish out this build because... I do want to finish out this build to see what we can actually get in here. So if we choose a CPU... Oh, man. What can we go for here? I mean, we're gonna let's do this quick. Let's do AM5 or LGA 1700. It's gonna be one of those two. You could go AM4 still, but 7800 X3D. Where's that's gonna be into the 300, or is it gonna be four? It's at 400. What other CPUs do we have at this price range? We've got, man, what is 13700 non-Ks even more expensive? 13600K, 14600K, and then 7600X is down here, $150 less. You want to go AMD so for the CPU, I feel like you could go either way and be fine. $7800 X3D is what most people are saying. It is only like 30 bucks. No, let's see, 40 bucks more than the 7700X. From Intel side of thing, you're pretty much looking at the 13700K F. Actually, the 13700K is 40 bucks more expensive. Yeah, I'm thinking just from the list of this, Intel has so many variants. Look at this. It's just like all Intel and then like 3 AMDs in here. 7800 X3D at 400 bucks. Let's add that in. We could always switch it around because we know we're going AM5. OP Sporing wants AMD. No problem. You learned a lot. Thank you. I appreciate you. There are some people who ask questions, and then as we start helping them out during the stream, they just disappear. So I'm glad you're actually sticking around. Hopefully, no, Intel's not better. You could go either Intel or AMD. And then what? You might have said this before. Are you using this build for anything in particular? Are you just like gaming, browsing, just like typical PC gamer type needs? We're already at $1,800, so we have $1,200 left to spend. We actually have a lot of. See, this is what going high-end AMD graphics card gets you, because their most expensive card is about 1,000 USD or 1,000 euros, as opposed to if we went 4090, this would already be at 2,400. Gaming in Photoshop, okay, yeah, you're good. Dude, yeah, with Photoshop, Photoshop is not even difficult to run at all. I mean, I know there's some more advanced stuff that you can do, but if you look at the benchmarks side by sides, I don't think it's anything worth like worrying about. Like your primary power use case, it sounds like for this PC is gonna be for gaming. All right, we're gonna choose memory. So what are you guys' thoughts? Because we're in this weird space now where pretty much if you go DDR5, it's hard to find. I have seen 16 gigabyte DDR5 kits out there. It's just super rare. And it's actually harder to find than it is to find a 32 gig kit. So pretty much DDR5 comes at a minimum 32, which for most people, that's gonna be plenty. I think, like, especially for gaming, even for for power use cases. Like even if you're streaming, have a bunch of tabs open during Discord, OBS, and stuff like that. 32 still works fine. But I have a feeling most people, like they feel more comfortable with 64 gigs. Like if you ask someone like Tech Deals, he would probably say 32 gigs is not going to be enough in the next few years, and you would want to future-proof yourself doing 64 gigs. I don't like to just needlessly spend money. Like with RAM, have you guys monitored your RAM use case? If you've never done it, go and open up, like, look at your RAM usage on your computer, which is really easy. You right-click Task Manager, you go to Performance, and then you click on the RAM. Here, I can actually do it right now. Actually, can I share this window? Okay, let me see. How do I add this window in here? Come on, window capture, here we go. Okay, there we go. All right, so this is, I gotta move this out of the way. So this is your task manager. Let me, I'm just gonna have it blocking my face. So here's your task manager, you go to performance, and then, so right now I have 2 Discord instances open, one on a browser, one in my, and then one in the actual Discord, right? I have, how many tabs of Chrome do I have open? Look at the Google Chrome right here. I have 39 tabs open. Let's see. Jonathan Tobert, thank you for the gifted subs. I appreciate it. No. I'm not trying to justify more RAM. I'm saying 32 is enough. Let's see how much I'm using right now. Memory. So I have 64 gigabytes, which I admit is overkill. In my system, I have 64 gigabytes of RAM. RAM, at the time that I built it, you know, it's super cheap. But I'm using only 16 gigabytes. Now, I'm not playing games or anything right now. But even if I did throw a game on here, let's say I threw, you know, games nowadays are running anywhere between like 8 to 14, 16 gigs maybe. Even if I did open up like a modern game, Call of Duty or something right now, I would still be a decent amount below 32 gigabytes, right? So 32 gigs has been enough, and I think it will be enough for a long time. And I don't know, are you guys like me where you have like a bajillion Chrome tabs open? I never close Chrome tabs. I often get, here, okay, this is what we're gonna do. Let me copy this window and we're gonna actually watch this in real time. Because I feel like people say, oh, you want a lot of extra RAM just in case you're opening up a million Chrome tabs. We're gonna do this live exercise right now on stream just to show you guys. So we're on our browser, right? And then let me show you, let me move this stream browser down. All right, so you see these tabs up here? You see all these tabs? So I'm gonna open up like a bajillion tabs at the same time as showing this. So look at the memory usage. It's down here. Memory usage is right here. 14.5 gigabytes. I'm actually going to go to YouTube. I'm going to put a bunch of videos. Right? So we're going to go to YouTube. So we added another Chrome tab. Let's just open this up. So we're going to do this. And we're going to have the video play. So I'm just going to keep doing this. I'm opening up a bunch of different tabs. Now I'm just going to have a bunch of Jeff Geerling videos. So you see, look at the top here at the window. We're just going to open a bunch of tabs, and we're going to let the video actually start playing. I'm not just opening the tab because YouTube doesn't start playing until you actually go to the tab. So we're actually viewing like a bajillion different videos right now. So these are all actually playing in the background. And I know there's other use cases that use up more RAM, but this is the quickest thing that I can do to actually do like a live demonstration. So remember, all these are actual playing videos, not just like browsers that are just sitting idly. So, I mean, how many have I opened up so far? We're just going to keep going. We're just going to open up what random suggested YouTube videos are over here. And, I mean, we've opened up quite a bit since then. We're at 18 gigs now. And again, this is just 17. So how many gigs did that go up? And this is just, these are like from videos, right? So what am I at now? So now I'm at 60 Chrome tabs, and we're barely reaching 18 gigs. And remember, I'm running a lot of, like I have Discord open in the background. I have OBS. I am running VLC player for music. And these are 1080p videos. So, like, look at this. Most reasonable people are not doing this. So, that's why I would say I'm hiding those P-Hub tabs. Oh my, you guys and your dirty minds. That's why I would comfortably say 32 gigabytes. But, uh-oh. Oh yeah, I'm still on here. But let me read chat what people are saying. Master Singleton, I'm currently using 46% of my 32 gig of DDR4 RAM. 32 gigs have been enough for me in my system for 3.5 years now. 32 gigs is plenty. 32 gigs for me is enough. For just gaming, 32 gigs is still more than enough. Even, I mean, I just showed even for more than just gaming. If I opened up, because what, I was using 18, I think I would have been fully utilizing the RAM if I opened up a game that was able to use 14 gigs. On top of doing everything else I'm already doing now. You have 40 tabs open, yeah. You guys, check your task manager right now. Check how many tabs you have open in Google Chrome. I am constantly sitting at some high number because I never close my tabs. Yep. It seems like other people share the same sentiment of not closing tabs. You've seen Fortnite use up to 10 to 13. Now, is that system overall, or is that Fortnite by itself? Because like a lot of times, like when I'm showing, actually no, I guess when I'm showing it, it is just using, let's see. Let's take a look. So I built this. I don't think I was running anything in the background. We can take a look at, let's see. So we've got about 13 gigs while running Apex, 14 gigs. But remember, the system will always be, the game itself isn't using this much. It's using some number less than this because there's always background tasks and processes that are running. Like your system will always be using some baseline amount, even if you're just sitting there idly without games. But this is it with the game on top of it. So let me see. So 14, Diablo is actually a RAM killer. I know that for a fact. Here's Forspoken. Fortnite, we're up close to 15, but that's still plenty of room to do other stuff. Forza, so Hogwarts Legacy uses a lot, it looks like. We're up at 22 there, about 15 for The Last of Us. So yeah, it depends on game optimization as well, but it's to the point where, yes, I can understand people saying 16 is not enough, but 32 I think is a good amount. Diablo 4 RAM hogger, indeed. Unfortunately, I have not played the first or second, and I don't know if I'll be playing the third season of Diablo 4. I was so hyped for it, and I did play it pretty hardcore when it first came out before seasons, but I don't know. I did the same with Diablo 3 too. I think I just need to let them keep on working on the game a bit before I go back and start sinking in hundreds of hours to Diablo 4. I did hear that Diablo 4 is worth playing again. I did hear that, but I mean, I hop from games to game. So when I find myself like super concentrated on one game, I pretty much play that like exclusively. So right now, hardcore WoW is that thing. And then when Seasons of Discovery comes out, it's gonna be that thing. So yeah. GTA 6, I have heard. But let me go back to this before we lose OP sporing. So for RAM, yes, I think 32 gigs is fine. I know we have a large budget of 3,000 euros, but I think 32 gigs is fine. With RAM, you're pretty much going to be playing a balancing game between cast latency and the frequency, which is the speed here. They don't even say mega transfer per second or megahertz now. They just say speed with no units. But, okay, let's see what we can find. What would be first world latency? Yeah, so it gets really expensive as you try to go for first world latency, which is a balance between both speed and cast latency. Where is, I think, what's the sweet spot? There's no prices for half of these. Can I sort by in stock and has price? No, I cannot sort by that. No. Guillotine. I said it's hard to find 16 gigabytes of DDR5. 32 gigs is really easy to find. 32 gigabytes is like the easiest to find, actually. It is like the sweet spot. Kind of like how 16 gigs is with DDR4. Like, it's just the pricing on this kind of sucks because I'm trying to sort by multiple things here. We're going to go 2 by 16. Hopefully that filters it down quite a bit. Oh yeah, low price. Good thinking. Good thinking, giant robots. Where's the price? I can even do more than that. I can do like, we know 32 gigs is not going to cost any less than like 60. Okay, here we go. So now we sort by lowest price. We have the slowest RAM speed is going to be 4800. So just keep that in mind as we look. I think people generally grab 56. 56 is kind of the sweet spot. You start paying a little bit more for 6000, but I mean, they got T-Force. If you don't care about, do you care about RGB is the question? If you don't care about RGB, Team Force, T-Force Vulcans are kind of like some of the best deals that I've personally seen here in the US. And it's looking pretty sweet right here too, because this is the cheapest, wait, no, this is 38 CL though. Let's keep going down a bit. Let's see how cheap 36. So it's getting better. 36. So that's 12 nanosecond latency. What is something closer to like a 10 nanosecond? So CL30. That's going to cost you 119 versus what? Can't build a 3K PC and not have RGB. I mean, the RGB, you don't even need it in the RAM. You could get it in the rest of the parts. All right, let me see what the cheapest. Let's see if we can find a 6000 CL30 RGB set. Let's see. Where's it at? Whoops, I chose the wrong filter. Let's go no more than CL30. So there's not that many. Okay. Let me go back up to like 36. Yeah. You could do the slider. I don't think you could actually choose the, I didn't see the actual latency selector. Was there? No, there's just a timing selector, but all right, see you, Jonathan Tobar. Thanks for the for donating all those memberships to people. I appreciate it. For real world latency, I would personally be okay with 12 nanoseconds. If you look at the side-by-side comparisons, it's a minor difference. And it's not, for their use cases of Photoshop, it's not going to make any difference. Yeah, just because getting the 10 nanoseconds, it's... I mean, if we want RGB, the cheapest one is right here. These rip jaws for 120. So it's 6000 CL30, but there's no RGB. If we wanted a cheaper RGB set, it would be something like this Corsair Vengeance kit right here for 115. There is a 9 nanosecond, but do you really need your memory to be that fast? You can turn it off. Yeah, you can do similar colors. I think I'm going with the Corsair Vengeance. Surprisingly, Corsair is usually a little bit more expensive. I'm actually surprised. It's pretty much in line with the Team Group prices. Maybe with the DDR5, it's because I know DDR4 Corsair memory is more expensive than Team Group DDR4 for the same speeds. Yeah, that hard if you are a new guy like me. RAM is hard to choose. I wouldn't get caught up with like the intricacies of memory. Yeah, you could choose more tightly timed kits and stuff, but I don't think many beginners are doing anything past setting the XMP or the preset profiles that come with the memory compatible with the motherboards and stuff like that. I don't think people are going in and messing with subtimings and stuff like that and basically blue screening or crashing the computers and resetting CMOS, because that is a pain in the butt to do. Overclocking memory is not a fun process. Danny throwing insults out here when he knows you need the fastest RAM for the P-Hub tabs. No way, man, no way. I'm going with the 5600 CL36 Corsair Vengeance. So what's last? So where are we at now? Almost 2,000. We're actually coming in well under budget. So we can pick a motherboard. I feel like motherboards are also a pain too. Motherboards are, I mean, look, just like everything else, how is a beginner supposed to choose a motherboard from this list? For all the smart Alecs out there who are like, it's easy to build your own PC and to do that, how do you expect someone to use a tool that is easily accessible like PC Part Picker when they have this to sort through? I mean, yeah, they could go watch motherboard roundup videos, like Hardware Unboxed has really good ones, but like, how are people supposed to choose? I think there are some basic rules that you can follow, right? Like, since we're going AM5 or just AMD in general, don't get the cheapest chipset, and in this case, it's going to be like the A620. Go for, at minimum, a B650, or an X670 if you want. So here's the different chipsets. You don't want to go for the cheapest one just because it's going to limit you in terms of, overall, the build quality of the A620 boards are going to be lower quality components, as well as limited overclockability. And it's not that much more, especially if you're working with 3,000 euros, just to get up to a B650 at least, if not an X670. Picking parts is harder than building the PCs if you don't know what you're looking for in a PC. But I feel like even for experienced people, when you start having a bigger budget, it's hard to find the more high-end components, because when you're on a more limited, let's say like $1,000 to $1,500 build, you kind of get cornered into using specific parts that are more like value oriented. So then you have less of a selection to choose from. Then you could just look at, like the rear I/O or other features of the board. But when you got $3,000 to spend, your possibilities are almost endless with how much you have to choose here. So the easiest way would be to first sort by, dude, I'm not doing the extended boards. We're just going to do standard B650 and X670 boards, right? So when you start looking at boards, it's kind of easy to see the very cheap boards from the more expensive ones, just with how much stuff they have on here. Like this board this is actually this is a kind of pathetic B650 board. I know there are A620 boards that are better than this, and we're not just talking because of like the VRMs and like heatsinks and stuff, but just looking at the other connectivity, like I'm trying to find where's the M.2 slot even on here. I don't see it. Yeah, you definitely got to filter out. Do you even see an M.2 slot for a drive on here? This crappy quality picture. Let me see. Let me see if I can get it a better. Oh my goodness. All right, looks like I just have to. That picture was too blurry. Oh my God. Seriously? Am I blind? Oh, is it right here? Wow, this is really hard to see. It is really hard to see. Yeah. It's right here. And it looks like it has one of those built-in tabs. The plastic tabs. So you got one. Yeah. At this price point, like stuff like this, you kind of want to look out for. I don't even see USB, like a USB-C header on here. It has a toolless tab, which is actually kind of cool. But aside from that, like, this is a very bare bones board. Okay, so let me see if I were to choose a board from this list. What would I go for? Well, trying to keep it somewhat reasonable pricing. The primes, this is still a very more like budget-oriented value board. The Pro RS, similar here. Let's see if we can get 3 M.2 slots. Here we go. M.2 slots. Let's get at least 3. That should help filter it down by quite a bit. What is the cheapest boards that has 3? Do these actually have 3? I just want to make sure to see. There's 1, 2. Yeah, okay. So this does have 3. 1 under the shield or the heatsink, and then 2 more right here. I guess for you guys, for motherboards, what is your most important features in a board? Do you care more about like USB slots? Do you care about, for me, I think M.2 slots are pretty big up in there. At least having adequate heat sinks for the VRMs. I don't need them to be super beefy or like a crazy overclocking board, but just have some form of cooling on there. USB-C, especially for cases that have the front panel connector for it. What else? For me, lots of USB. M.2. Okay. Danny Carbajal says you've been slacking lately. I know. The next video is coming. It's coming soon. .5 gig Ethernet 2. Fan headers in easy to manage places. That's actually a good one. So let's look at the. So I just clicked on. Let's see. So let's look for a non-micro ATX, right? Let's look for a standard, and that should cut down the list even more. So I think the nice thing about selecting at a minimum 3 M.2 slots is that it actually filtered out a lot of the lower cost boards. If we chose 2, we could probably find some boards in like the 150 range. But just by going to 3, you start getting into boards closer to 200. But from these, Asus Tough Gaming. So let's take a look at this board, which, oh my goodness, look at those. All right. Oh man, this is a very unique looking board. I hate how they don't have all the pictures on here though, so we have to go to the website itself. Debug code or debug indicator would be nice. Yes, that actually would be pretty nice. Let's see what this Asus Tough board has. All right. Like, what do you guys use all your USB ports for? This has, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Gen 1, 2 Gen 2 Type-Cs. It has a BIOS flashback button, which is nice. Is there any debug indicators on here? So it has front USB 3.2 Type-C right there. What is this large? Okay, wow. So they got 2. This long heatsink on the bottom has 2 of the M.2 slots. External drive USB controllers, keyboard, yeah. But I mean, aside from that, would this be enough for most people? This actually looks like it doesn't even. It has a little bit less than a typical higher end board. Control wheel. MSI had the OC Genie, yes, the OC Genie button in the BIOS. This one does not seem to have. Is that a filter that we could put on? Debug light. Let's see, features. Onboard video, headers, supports, ECC, wireless. Oh yeah, Wi-Fi. Is that an important feature for you guys? I think at a certain point, the boards just come with Wi-Fi. Once you start reaching like the $200-ish or euro. I don't really use any of my back USB ports other than mouse and keyboard. To charge my phone, thumb drive, I'll use the front. Okay, yeah. So then that would be something that's more based on the case. Audio mixer, man, some people have some unique like setups. I used the Z690 Tough and it was good. I mean, this seems like a pretty standard board with it doesn't have a ton going for it in terms of extra added features. But let me see if we can find a board, because you can't filter by that, which kind of sucks. Like if we are trying to look for some of those things like BIOS flashback, debug indicator lights and things like that, and that's mostly going to be for troubleshooting, right? Which for a beginner would be very helpful. Let's see. Strix boards. I would imagine the Strix board would have that, but is there anything that's cheaper that we think might have it? The Tomahawk. Let's see if the Tomahawk has it. To be honest, once you have your USB ports and your like M.2 slots and your RAM, assuming you don't buy a board with 2 memory slots. Once you have all of those things down and selected, I think it's pretty hard to like really go wrong with a motherboard. I know people have their loyalties and think like, oh, all BioStar or all ASRock or all Asus boards suck based on their 1 or 2 experiences they've had. But I think it's hard to go like really wrong choosing a motherboard now that it's basically been filtered down to these choices right here, right? Okay, Tomahawk Wi-Fi. What do we got here? Wow, this one looks more empty than the last board we looked at. Okay, let's see. Where is the complete breakdown? They do not have one of those pages? Bruh, MSI. Oh, specifications. Oh, but then we gotta look through the list. I like to visually see it. Oh, here, okay, they do have the back panel ports. So yeah, we definitely get, with this board, more USB ports, which I don't know if a ton of, this has what, 7, 9, and then a single USB Type-C right here. It does have BIOS flashback, looks like. Yep, flash BIOS button. But it does not have, I don't think it has the little indicators for troubleshooting. Unless it's that right there. It's hard to see. Show me a higher, nope, that's not it right there. So yeah, no LED like debug indicators from what I can see. I don't think it has it. The ProArt Creator Solid. Let's see. The ProArt, so these are usually higher end boards, right? Isn't the thing about them is their the Ethernet? Aren't they like 10 gig? No, this one's not. I mean, if I were to choose a board, between these, let me look at the prices again. So to try to keep it in the 200 range, I would probably choose a Tomahawk Wi-Fi. Just because it has, for my personal use case, and I think for a lot of people, unless you have like a very special, unique use case, this is gonna have everything you need. It does also have Wi-Fi in case you don't have like a hard line running to your system. But are there boards that would have more features out there, or that would have better overclocking capability? Yeah, probably. Would those probably cost more? Yeah. I like the Tomahawk. I have 2 of those right now. Shotgunner. I'm not gonna shotgun a Pro Loco. But I think 220 for a 3,000 euro build, I think this is perfectly doable. And we got to get moving. I mean, you could look through motherboards and try to choose from them all day and not get anywhere, like we said. Like, there's so much to choose from, which is what makes people like anxious, especially beginner builders. But I mean, you can look up motherboard roundup videos. Like, if you find a board that you think would work out well, just type in this to Google, to YouTube, and watch a couple of either roundup or review videos, or read a couple of reviews from online. And if there's nothing that's just like game-breakingly bad, because you could always find someone complaining about some motherboard. Like, every motherboard out there, there's probably one forum or Reddit post that someone complained that it was a crappy board. But that's not the case. Like, for the most part, it's really hard to go like wrong once you chose all the little filters that you need. And going with boards with like Wi-Fi, this many M.2 slots in this price range, all the boards are gonna perform relatively close to each other. So right now we're at $2,100. We're actually gonna easily be able to come in a lot lower than $3,000. All we need is a CPU cooler. We filled out everything else. We've got a 7800 X3D system with a 7900 XTX. And then we kind of chose a filler case because it was way too hard to choose like a case. And the OP Sporing didn't even care about what case we used. So we just chose something that would fit everything inside. But now when it comes to compatibility, I guess this one would fit a 3-fan radiator in the front. With the cooler, oh my goodness. As I do this exercise out loud, I'm being reminded why so many people ask for recommendations or ask for us to put together these PC part picker lists. Because, I mean, yeah, let's just choose a cooler right here. Let's just choose a cooler out of 10 pages worth of crap to sort through. Hey, what's up, CJ? Thanks for the kind words. We're going to filter it by at least like $50, just because. All right, and then it's gonna start with the air coolers. I mean, we have plenty of budget left. No reason not to use an AIO, 3-fan AIO. And we're gonna assume that we use a case that works water-cooled, 360 or 420 millimeter. It looks like 420 is not compatible with the case that we chose. We could always choose a different case around the same price range. It's not just the aesthetics, Demon Mitt, I would say. Like, yeah, so the 7800 XTD, you could probably get away with like a 280. But I think there is something to be said about being able to run the pump and the fans at a lower speed because you have a larger radiator to help cool, right? So I don't think when I think of coolers, I don't always think of what is the maximum wattage use case I'm using the cooler for. I also think about it, as you mentioned, aesthetically. Because it's of this build, it's gonna look better in the build. But also, how low can you ramp down the pump and fan speeds so that you just reduce that acoustic like white noise? You could run it at a quieter speeds if you have more radiator or more metal on the heatsink, if that Makes sense. Case I will look at later. Case I'll look at later, but I will check. Yeah, make sure to check everything fits in there. But let's see what the coolers are looking like over in the Netherlands. So if I do choose, let's go 360 just to see what the prices look like. What are some of the most affordable? Thermalright, dude. So Thermalright kills it in the you know, tower air cooler game. I've not used a Thermalright AIO, but I mean they're coming they're coming in kind of crazy with the price to performance, I guess. I mean, you can only get so bad, right? Even though I've never used this, there's kind of like a baseline expected performance that you will get out of a 360 millimeter radiator. Let's see, we've got thermal. Okay, so that Thermalright one, holy crap! Look at the price difference. All right, Extreme Zone, have a good night. We are, Jesus. How do we talk so much and not even finish this PC Power Picker build list throughout this entire duration of the stream? I got sidetracked. I can't say we. I got sidetracked by multiple things. But what's the highest CPU you've used with an SE214 XT with? Probably I think it's a 13600K. I mean, I would comfortably put like my 12700K underneath it. It's gonna be running at, you know, when you're doing fully loaded like core and thread workloads. It's gonna be running really loud to keep it cool, but for gaming and stuff, it could fly. Demon Mint wants to go with or is saying air coolers are just fine. We have plenty of budget where we could, if you choose the air cooler, you're saving money. If you choose an AIO, you get the aesthetics. You do get the slightly more complicated installation process. I don't know. I still kind of hate installing AIOs, but this is the beauty of PC building. You have so much choice, so much that you get lost in it. You like the Lynnwood Galahad 2 LCD? And then, yeah, there's LCD coolers too. So, let's see. Oh, man. The LCD coolers, which one you... Galahad 2? Trinity, Galahad 2... LCD, yeah, because these ones aren't LCD, right? That one's not. The cheapest Galahad 2 LCD is 300 or 233, which is very pricey, but these LCD AIOs are not cheap. They charge quite a bit of a premium because of that screen on there. Whether or not it actually costs them that much more to, maybe it was the R&D behind it, but so. What you would prefer, I mean, you could fit it in your budget, OP Sporing. You could definitely fit in your budget, because let's say we add, actually, let me look at LCD. Let's see, what are the LCD choices out there? I do like LCD coolers. I just wish some of the cheaper brands would make some. The Lynnwood is the cheapest one. Corsair is a little bit more expensive by about 40 something bucks. Yeah, budget definitely allows for it. We're coming in well under budget, Demon Mint. Like, well under budget. You're going to be disappointed if I don't include the streamer cables in this build. What? David Blackberry said, how necessary do y'all feel PCIe 5.0 GPU slot is for future GPU upgrades? I personally don't think it's that important. I haven't tested, especially to the limits. I don't even, like with the 4090, you're not even fully saturating the a Gen 5 slot, right? But you're talking about for the future, which, I mean, I can't speak on the future, but looking to the past, through my own personal testing of Gen 4 versus Gen 3, as well as throwing in Gen 2 and 1 in there, it is not as big of a deal as people are making out to be. I feel like people future-proof now and pay some stupid premium for kind of, I'm not going to call it gimmicky, but pay for some of those features. And then by the time it becomes relevant, where like you actually need a PCIe 5.0 slot to fully utilize your GPU, you're already going to be upgrading your PC by that point. I don't think you're going to keep it for as long as you think it will become irrelevant, if that makes sense. Like, it is not going to go out of style or lose its relevancy before you do your next build upgrade. Not important at all. So if you want OP Exploring, yeah, true, looks cool, but I don't know if it's hard to install. No. I think what the beauty of all this is, if you have any trouble, like look, I will show you. And I kind of go back and forth about PC building is intimidating, PC building is easy, PC building is intimidating. Anything you need to know, look at this. I mean, I would say I've installed a number of AIOs, over the years. I still find them annoying. It's not that they're difficult, they're just sometimes tedious and annoying because of the different brackets and screws that you're provided, and then trying to get, depending on your case configuration, whether or not you put the fans directly onto the AIO. Like if you do intake versus exhaust, you use either the long screws or the screws that thread into the fans. So there's different screws that you have to use specifically for your setup. But any AIO, one of the major parts of installing it is going to be the bracket on the backside of the motherboard and how it attaches the pump block to the chip. So there are, for almost every cooler out there you can imagine, a YouTube step-by-step guide and tutorial on how to do it. So yeah, whether or not it's hard to install, like if you have the patience, you will be able to figure it out with plenty of references and guides online. The only issue is if you're impatient, because some of these videos, I mean, look at this. This is a 16-minute video. Obviously, you can play it at 2x speed or fast forward through it. But this is for the AIO. It might not have all the information you need, so you might have to check out a different video if for some reason they use some kind of combination of parts that doesn't answer your specific question. But as long as you're patient, the information is out there. But in the essence of time, because we've gone over, and you said that you do like the LCD types of screens, and you mentioned the Galahad. It is the cheapest one from this list. And we added this to the build just to take a look. And then you probably want to throw in some fans in there if this case, I don't know how many fans it comes with, or whatever case you choose. Depending on if you get a case that comes fully kitted out with fans, or some cases come with 0 fans because they don't want to give you fans that you're not going to use anyways, and you're going to replace with ones that you want. We're looking at only $2,400 to get you pretty much the best AMD gaming CPU you can get, which will be plenty good for your Photoshop use cases, as well as a top of the line AMD card. you had a 3,000 euro budget. We came in well under it. And I don't feel like we really skimped on any components. It's not like we chose the cheapest RAM. We didn't choose the most high-end RAM, but we didn't choose the cheapest either. It's like we didn't get the cheapest motherboards. We didn't get a cheap power supply by any means. So you can modify this how you want, OP scoring. You can modify this however you want. But this is kind of like a baseline that you can start off like as a reference. You can change the motherboards and not really impact the performance. You could change the memory too if for whatever reason you feel compelled to. You could choose different SSDs. But I mean, this is pretty much what we're looking at. If you switch to a 4090, would that still be under 3K? Not in the Netherlands. So the 4090, when we looked at it, it was 2,000. So it'll bring it to 3,300, which if you want to account for tax and stuff like that, it's safer to come in a little under than go over. Does anyone else find $399 for an 8-core CPU hard to swallow? I don't look at core count, man. I have never looked at the core count of something and decided like, oh, that's what I'm going to base the buying decision off of. I look more at the numbers, like the benchmarks and the numbers. I don't, yeah. Even if this, okay, if it, I don't think this would ever say like 6-core, but if for whatever reason they had less cores and less threads, but each of those cores were super crazy good for whatever reason, I don't, I don't care. Yeah, it would be double for a 4090 based on what we saw earlier. Let me see. I mean, I can add a video card right here. So let's just say we do 2 video cards for whatever reason. The cheapest one was, oh, I guess the X Trio was $1,850. There was MSI Gaming X Trio. So $1,850, but after that, I mean, we're quickly getting to the 2,000 euro price range. And that would push it over budget. Master Singleton is still using an i5-8400. And how's that working out for you? I almost made this stream talking about how old the components, because we talked about how cheap would you go for builds last week. I almost did it how old would you go for builds in terms of generation of parts. We talked about it a little bit in last week's stream, but we got caught up by doing a bunch of different stuff today. And then before we go though, I did want to bring up this. Just I'm curious, is anyone excited for this at all? This is the state of tech news right now, when I feel like tech news is going kind of slow, especially with regards to like consumer parts, consumer like gaming PC parts. So CPUs, graphics cards for the most part. It's so slow that we have articles being written about the RTX 40 super branding is kind of ugly, contends leaker. And they're talking about the gray Pantone silver color of the super on the box. Like, this is how slow the news is getting. I personally don't like supers because they're kind of like glorified refreshes with maybe some like bumps in clock speeds, and then they can kind of justify. I would rather see cards go lower in price more so than super cards fill in their slots. Like for a 4070 Ti, I would rather see it get noticeably cheaper because it started at 800 than it get only slightly cheaper just for them to slot in this new 4070 Ti Super. I don't even know, like, when this comes out, I have a feeling it's not going to be 800. It might be like 850 or something. which doesn't do well when it comes to like the performance per dollar, especially given how much time has passed since the 4070 Ti released. Umar says, I am not expecting anything from this rumored super lineup. I've been desensitized to NVIDIA releasing terrible value. I think even though NVIDIA, when they were releasing the cards, that, you know, the 40 series as it was coming out, I think that was exciting just because the pandemic was over. Pricing was returning to normal. And it's like the first cards of the new generation or the new lineup. When you start getting into these refreshes and just kind of like these filler cards, then I agree a lot more that, yeah, it's not exciting like at all. The only way that they can make it exciting is to release this and make it come in at like less than the MSRP of what a 4070 Ti came out at, what, $800? Then that would be a little bit more exciting because then you're getting, you know, they're providing more value with the card. All right, OP Sporing. Hopefully you're able to get a PC, and if you don't end up building your own PC, don't feel bad about buying a pre-built or from like a company. You know, the easiest way to work on a PC is to work on an already functioning PC. Then you already know it's working, and you're only there's only like 1 or 2 moving parts that you're changing out. When you have a bunch of new parts come to you, any number of them could have like a DOA issues or just, you know, problems, and then it becomes a pain that you can't pinpoint what the issue is. But yeah, getting a fully working PC, then upgrading yourself down the line is a perfect way to get into PC building. $32 megabytes of cache on a $300 CPU versus 96 megabytes, which is tripling of 3D cache on a $400 CPU. So the cache increase, that cache increase and the significant latency lowering makes a significantly faster CPU regardless of the core count. I think, so what was it? Damon was saying they didn't like the price of it being, you know, $100 more or 33% more. But it depends on what you're using it for. There are plenty of people out there who are fine with Ryzen 5s at like the $200 price point. Even I would be okay with the Ryzen 5, to be honest. I am not doing anything that is so time sensitive and time critical that I need like the top of the line processor. I'm using a 12700K now, which is like the equivalent to an i5 13600K, which, you know, is more in the realm of what I feel like normal people use. Not a ton of people are using i9s, Ryzen 9s, and even the newest X3D chips. I don't think many people will fully utilize a, like, you know, $350+ CPU. Hey, what's up, Kachang? Hello to you in Australia. Greetings from Washington State. I bought an Alienware R16 with an i7 and a 40. What do you think of it? PC Tech News and unboxing. You bought an Alienware R16. How much? I don't think, for me to give an opinion, I kind of have to know the price. The R16, I don't follow Alienware builds, but let's take a look at this thing. This actually, I actually don't think this looks that bad. I mean, it's kind of, it's more of a stand. Oh my God, I wonder what power supply do you think is in here? You think this is the actual power supply they used? Or you think this is just like a 3D rendering? I mean, obviously, this is a 3D rendering, but is it a 3D rendering of what is representative of what's in here? You paid $1,800, and what'd you get out of it? You got a i7, I'm guessing 13700 or 13700K. Actually, we can see on here. You paid $1,800. What are we looking at? 13700F. So no integrated graphics. No. 13700 4070 Ti. I can't find a 4070 Ti variant on here. I can find this one that is not a Ti, but it sounds like yours. 13700F 4070 non-Ti by $1,800 here. Oh. I'm curious about the quality of the power supplies in the Dells. I mean, you hear all the time, and I mean, they could be changing power supply from build to build, but if I had to guess, just based on me stereotyping Dell, or like, you know, just based on different teardowns and stuff, I haven't seen the latest Gamers Nexus teardown on whatever the newest Alienware they looked at. But in terms of the power supply quality, anyone have any ideas how good or bad they are? The quality is extremely high, but that's because they're way simpler than so they are actually good quality power supplies. Okay. Dell is gonna put A770s in them. Interesting. I'm going to soon be joining the A770 club myself, so we'll see. 770, yeah, thanks for the reminder, Kevin. I think we're good on time. Shoot. I think, well, because I think Melissa went to Costco with her sister. Let me take a look. I don't know if they left or came home. I think they're going to like the mall and Costco and stuff and doing grocery shopping. Let me check the cameras. Huh. Did they not leave? And is she just sleeping upstairs and being a lazy butt? They're 12-volt only units, not official. Okay, so I think that kind of sucks when it comes time to upgrade. And did you say they were different size as well? Because yeah, you could always do a power supply upgrade, but depending on how big it is, it might be like you might have to like scrap the whole case. I don't know. I can't tell by the picture, but this does look to be a more unique shape than a standard ATX. They're flex units. Okay, yeah. They're extra small. Yep. Okay. Yeah, so, I mean, if you're enjoying the PC for now, that's fine. Alienware, I don't know. They're not the first company that I go to if I have to recommend a pre-built system. But that's just me though. I feel like they're not the first company a lot of people would go to. Especially like, I mean, $1,800 for a 4070 Ti i7, that's not like a crazy, that's like kind of, it sounds kind of standard, right? I feel like a lot of different companies are offering that combination of parts for that price, but then you're going with like a proprietary power supply with specific connectors and things like that. It just makes it for a more painful process should you upgrade or have problems with your power supply or something down the line to quickly swap in something else. They suck for airflow. I mean, this one looks like it doesn't have the, I mean, it has some airflow. I mean, there's plenty of other case manufacturers that are not Alienware that also have, you know, poor front mesh airflow quality. It does have some airflow on the side though, right here. But I don't know if there's any fans directly behind there. So I don't know how much fresh air is actually being pulled in here. But yeah, I mean, if you're asking for my thoughts on this, if I had $1,800, I probably wouldn't have gone Alienware. But if it works for you, then you know what? Enjoy the heck out of that PC. The CPU still thermal throttles if using a K-SKU chip. Okay, so this one's not a K-SKU chip. They looked at the refresh of it. Alienware Aura R15 is dog crap. With the yeah, oh, jeez. So one thing I will say though is I like this, when we're talking about the case, because assuming, you know, the internals are what they are. Case-wise, I'm liking this though a lot more than whatever this. What? Does anyone in the chat like the look of this? This just seems like, yeah, it's a unique looking PC case, but it just looks like such a horrible design. It's a waste of volume. I don't understand the design process if it's trying to go for like a more obscure artistic look, but to me this thing is straight up fugly. Like, oh my god, this thing compared to like what you would consider a standard PC case, it's just so much filler and the case is garbage. Okay, it has nutty fans in it, extremely powerful. You gotta share the story about that, Demon Man. Why did you own 5 of them? You've owned 5? Is this from your like PC flipping adventures? The fans are extremely powerful. I guess that's kind of nice, but how powerful do you really need fans to be? And with power comes noise, right? Unless they were super silent, powerful fans, then that's another thing. But you bought them from Tech Deals, who pulled the GPUs for mining. Are you local to Tech Deals? I don't think so, right? Tech Deals, isn't he in Texas? He shipped you 5 R15s? I feel like that's a lot to pay in shipping costs. But I don't know. Like, in terms of like money made, someone definitely, I guess, for mining, in terms of money made and lost, it might have been a wash. He shipped you 5. Did he ship it to you all at the same time? Did they come bundled together almost like on a pallet-like thing? Or did you receive, over the course of a week, different R15s showing up at your door? Or did they all come together? That's kind of crazy. That looks like the kitty litter robot. Wow. I agree with you. Kitty litter robot. Yeah. You've got kind of like a rounded shape here, and then it's kind of sitting at like a slightly angled up stance. Like it's got like this base thing, and then you've got the circle sitting angled upwards. Yeah. You got this base, and it's angled upwards. That would be funny to turn one of these into a kitty litter box. JG Wright. Yo, JG Wright. Didn't you say you were going to upload the video of the unboxing of the PC that you won from me 5 or 6 years ago? I'm still waiting on that to drop in the Discord channel. $300 a system, all at the same time. Individual boxes, though, was in the middle of the GPU shortage. Wait. So all he did was take out the graphics card, but he shipped you motherboard, AIO, case, RAM, storage, CPU, power supply. $300 a system plus shipping on whatever that cost. Man, does Tech Deals not care about money? I feel like you could get more for that and save money on shipping if sold locally. That seemed really cheap. I don't know which Alienwares he sold you, but even if it was not an i7 system, that sounds crazy cheap. 300 shipped. I don't care, even if you use pirate ship, a PC case, the lower limit is what, like 30, 40, 50 bucks, depending on how far you ship it. It's more now. Shipping has gotten more expensive, actually. Like, even doing, like, USPS flat rate boxes, all that has gone up in price. I had to help my wife ship something to one of her coworkers recently in Texas. And what would have normally cost, like, $7, maybe $8, like, a couple of years ago, or a few years ago, it's now, like, $11. Which, percentage-wise, I mean, it's a few bucks, but percentage-wise, that's kind of a large increase. Oh, 5600X, AM4, no A... Oh, okay. No AIO. But, I mean, if it came with the cooler, still, that's a crazy price. You sold a GTX 1070 for $700. I'm trying to think of what during the mining GPU shortage, what the most crazy deal is that I sold a GPU for. I think it was an RX 580 8GB for $400, because those cards were really good for mining. But for the most part, even though I had graphics cards on hand, during the shortage, I did not just like sell all of them just to profit on. I kept them on hand so that I could like make builds for people. Air cooler, 1 terabyte. Hard drives. These Alienwares came with hard drives. 1 by 8 gigabyte. Okay, I can kind of see why it's 300, but I still feel like 300 is still pretty cheap, given that, you know, the PSU, the CPU, the hard drive, and the 1 gig or one 8 gig stick of RAM is kind of funny to me. What kind of configuration for these to begin with? And he bought these from Alienware with 3080s in them. Alienware sold a configuration with the 5600X, one 8 gig stick of RAM, supposedly, unless you pulled the RAM, an air cooler, which is fine, 1 terabyte hard drive. In what day and age would you put a 1 terabyte spinning mechanical drive in a system that has a 3080 in it? This is crazy. All right. We're going to wrap up stream in the next 5 to 10 minutes here, so I'm just going to chill. I'm going to focus all on chat. No more browser. And yeah. He picked the lowest possible config. That's crazy, though. Did he tell you how much he paid for the system with the 3080 in it? That's what I'm curious about. What does a 5600X 3080 8 gig 1 terabyte hard drive system from Alienware go for? You bought all of your... Dude, 1060s for oh, man. I remember when 1060s and RX 480s, you could get them for like 150 new pretty easily. Back when I was streaming in, what, 2017 or so, 2018, and we would do the streams and just look through the slick deals and find those. Oh, man, those were good times. What was that website? I think Google was trying to do some kind of competitor to Amazon, and they would always give like these $20 off coupon deals, and we would stack those as well. I don't remember off the top of my head. Maybe some of you guys might remember, but there was a competitor, like Amazon competitor. It's in the US for the most part, but there was good PC part deals from there. I don't want to go to the browser, but if I can find it. Am I going to do Black Friday stream? When is Black Friday? So Black Friday is going to be on the 24th. I'm actually going to be doing a pre-Thanksgiving stream with John the Net Guy over at his house in his studio. for a charity type of build. So, and then Thanksgiving's the next day, and then Black Friday stream the next day. Potentially. Yeah, I think I'll probably do a Black Friday stream just because it's a chance for people to hang out Friday morning while they're looking for deals and stuff like that. And there he is himself, John the Net Guy. What's up, John? Yeah, so there will be more details in the coming weeks about that stream, I guess next week, where I'll explain more. So it's going to be run by John, but it's going to be dual streaming to my stream. And it's going to be at his house in his studio garage. And then we'll figure out the chat and stuff. But yeah. So be sure to sub to his channel just to make sure you get the notification for when we do go live streaming. Drones and phones. Getting blue screens of death in game crashes with latest NVIDIA driver 54601 with RTX 3070. Anyone else? You know, this is kind of funny, and I was thinking about it as a talking point for my upcoming video. You know how everyone talks about how AMD has driver issues? I think the people who talk about how AMD has such worse driver issues, they've never tried to look for posts about NVIDIA having driver issues. Because if you look for them, you'll find them easily on Reddit and forums and stuff like that, and Twitter. Like if you type in RTX whatever card driver issues, you can find your fair share of people posting about those too. But I find it funny, not funny that you're having blue screen of death crashes with this driver on your 3070, but I do find it funny how anti-AMD or like AMD haters use that as a talking point when both companies have their fair share of driver issues. You posted it in the Discord. I can't pull it up. I gotta be good about not pulling up the browser after the fact. Next week we can pull it up. Just remind me. Next week we will go into it because there will be other people probably tuning into the stream, and that would be a good way to kick off the stream during small talk. What graphics card do you recommend for Ryzen 5 3600 and 16 gigabytes of RAM? I like the 5700 XT. 5700 XT is probably not only is the performance and the value play. I'm trying to think of what is. I mean, you could do, if you could find a good deal on like a GTX 1070, it's going to be a lower end card, but it should be a little cheaper too. You can go GTX 1080 if you want. You could go, if you can find an RTX 2060, which 2060s are generally not that cheap, unfortunately. That's why the 5700 XT is like kind of the go-to. It's kind of taking the place of the RX 580s and 480s for that super value play. If you want new, because you can't go used, I agree with this right here. 6600 XT. So on here, the 5700 XT is going to be used. The 1080 Ti is going to be used. RTX 3060. You can still find for new, but they're kind of expensive for what they are. I think the 6600 or 6600 XT are both priced pretty well still. For a Ryzen 5 3600. John Hurst says, I'll be doing my next PC at the end of 2024. So that's about a year away. And it will be an all AMD PC. How will you know it will be an all AMD PC right now, though? For all you know, Intel can release some crazy value processor, or NVIDIA can, actually, I don't know if NVIDIA will ever give more bang for buck than AMD, just raw FPS wise. But still, how do you know? You're deciding a year ahead of time that you're going to go all AMD. Bitcoin is back up. Is it? Yo, does anyone here follow? Okay, last poll before we end the stream. All right, crypto. I'm just very curious because I don't know how many people care about crypto. It's crazy. We went through like several years of it being like the biggest thing, the biggest talking point. All mainstream news media was talking about it being the next thing and all that. I invested some money in crypto. I was stupid and was like, I think I 10x'd at like the best point in my investment. But I was like, oh no, I'm gonna wait for it to increase even more. And then it just all dropped and went to nearly zero. So I lost some money investing in crypto in the past. And I kind of now, I don't really think much about it. It's a good learning opportunity, but yeah. I invested what I could afford to lose and definitely did not take a mortgage or anything out or take a loan out on my house or anything like that. Like some people I've heard. So yeah. And Flux is up 8%. Another bull run shortage coming soon and later. Bitcoin was 26,000 in mid-October and it's now up. Wow, that's actually a pretty big percentage increase. 26 to 36.5. 10 over that. Yeah, that's more than a 33% increase. Fate says, I'm invested in Flux. Sweet. Now, can I ask you, are you currently in the positive or negative with your Flux investments? Never cared about it, even when it was big. So some people, about a quarter of the people who voted say yes and still do. Some people, about half of the people at some point did. And then about half never cared about it. Oh, no, I didn't mean to end poll. Crap. I did not mean to end the poll. I'm sorry. I guess stream is ending right now, though, so. I have 8 1060s because of crypto. Smiley face. No, did you know that if you invested $5K in Netflix in 2012 and cashed out at the COVID pandemic or epidemic, it would have been worth $5 million. I mean, you could do that with any other investment. Like, at some point, you could have done that with Bitcoin. You could have done that with GameStop. Maybe not GameStop. I don't think it ever went. So 5,000. So that's 1,000 times increase. But there are a lot of crypto that did those numbers. Tesla, Apple. Did Google? I mean, if you go back far enough, Google maybe at some point. Have been invested in NVIDIA for over a year now, hoping to see something like that. You could have invested in pharmacy companies. You kind of neutral, bought a bit every month as Flux went down. If you bought a bit as it was keeping, if it went down, don't you only break even once it starts going up? Cough, NVIDIA and AMD cough. I don't know. I don't know from this point on if those are going to be 1,000x companies, but we'll have to see. All right, I think that's going to wrap it up for the stream. Thank you for being an awesome audience as always. Hope you guys had fun. You know, the point of these streams is just to get your guys' mind off the week and just have a place for everyone to come to where we could actively live talk to one another as opposed to leaving comments on stuff and waiting X number of days or hours for a response. But yeah, today we've gone for almost 3 hours now. So this is what I like about the streams. Like, I didn't have anything that was super concrete on the plan just because I'm kind of doing stuff that I didn't have, that I'm not ready to share yet. So we came into the stream and I was just like, all right, what do you guys want to talk about? And then we went multiple directions. So yeah, I appreciate you guys for that. So you guys keep my mind constantly jogging and like having to talk the whole time. So I hope you guys get some good entertainment value, and in some cases, like OP Sporing, hopefully learn a thing or two through the discussions we have. But yeah, video this weekend, some shorts content as well, and then hopefully back to the consistent upload schedule, just because I've been, mentally, for the video creation side of things, it's been kind of a struggle. But in terms of like the streams and stuff, it's super easy because you guys make it, so easy to talk to you all. But yeah, hope you guys have a great rest of the evening and great rest of the week. Have a good weekend coming up. So yeah, be safe out there, and I will see you in the comments of the new video, which is going to be my build update video, as well as in next week's stream. So see ya.